Yeah, it is. It sure as heck is. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm Kyle Madsen. That's James Ham. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. And we're hanging out with you until noon right here on Sacramento Sports Leader. Man, we got a lot to get into. Normally, we open with Kings. Like that's typically just kind of the move. But we're going to switch it up today because it's NFL playoff time. Wild card weekend, quote unquote, and 2 games on Monday. A third of the games are on Monday.
It's pretty lame.
It's kind of whack.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of them. Like it was Martin Luther King Day, his day off.
Yeah.
So it played from a football standpoint. It was kind of Sunday-ish, but
it lessened the blow a little bit. But
yeah.
at the same, it was kind of a bummer to see the game get canceled on. Was it Sunday morning? The Sunday morning game, or was it Saturday?
Yeah, Sunday morning game.
Yeah, get pushed back because of snow. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you kind of expect that.
So, did you see the videos of the weather in Buffalo?
Oh yeah, I mean, did you see people trying to walk to their seats?
Yeah,
like just wild.
Well, that was yesterday.
Yes.
Did you see the videos from when they canceled it?
Yes. Yeah.
Like blizzard conditions.
Wild.
I understand why they didn't play football in it. I'm typically like, yeah, go play. Like, I want all the bad weather. That was dangerous. So I'm glad they moved it back. You don't want thousands of people descending on one place when the weather looks like that.
I think for my
call by the NFL,
my junior prom, we got out of prom and it was snowing like crazy, and I had to drive a girl back home to she lived at 4,500 feet of elevation, and I was of course 16 or 17 driving my dad's truck in the snow in a complete whiteout where you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you.
Hell yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I've been in that weather, but not where it's like that, where it's so snow, where the snow is accumulating.
It's like a hurricane with snow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I've been where you can't say, the only way you can see if someone's in front of you is if they have taillights on.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Wild.
I'm glad I don't live in a place where it snows like that. So the 49ers divisional round opponent is set. They will host the Packers at 5:15 p.m. on Saturday. Let's start there. The Green Bay Packers were super impressive.
Yeah.
They put together a much better performance than I thought they would. I knew they were playing really well, but man, this is Jordan Love, first-year starter at quarterback, playing in his first playoff game. It's on the road. Dan Quinn, Cowboys defensive coordinator, has been really, really good all season. And the Packers just dismantled those dudes. Mike McCarthy stinks.
Yeah, he's got to go, Kyle.
Immediately. Post haste.
I also, Dak Prescott put, if Mike McCarthy's job is on the line, so should mine be. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
I don't want to put it on Dak just yet. He's had Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy as his 2 head coaches. I would like to see him with a real, actual NFL head coach before I decide to punt Dak into the same portion of the sun that Mike McCarthy is going to land.
Okay, I mean I get that, but the guy's 2-5 in his career in the postseason,
no doubt,
and he wasn't good.
He wasn't very good.
He wasn't good. So I don't know.
Not when it mattered.
No. I mean this is a train wreck in Dallas, and they keep having the same issue. So at what point do you say, hey, look, it doesn't matter who is offensive coordinator. There's only like a dozen guys who get to maybe 8 guys that get to play with great offensive coordinators. The rest have to play with whoever.
Right.
And so I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence here with Dak joining Mike McCarthy on his way out the door.
Dak Prescott, I'm trying to get to his postseason game logs because I know his last couple haven't been great. So he was 41 of 60 for 403 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks against Green Bay, but a lot of that was stat padding in the second half. Green Bay, check this out. Green Bay had 37 first downs, which has only happened 8 other times in NFL history, regular season or postseason.
Wow.
The Cowboys are the first team to lose when having 37 or more first downs. They had 11 at halftime and then got 26 in the second half because it was just all trying to come back. So a lot of those stats don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Now, last year against San Francisco, he fell apart. 23 of 37 for 206 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. But in Tampa Bay the week before, he was 25 of 33, 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, you go and you look at their 2017 loss to Green Bay. That was the one where Aaron Rodgers hit, what was their tight end's name? I forget his name, but he hit like his tight end at the end of the game on a sick throw down the sideline. Dak was really good in that game. 24 of 38, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. But other than that, he's been pretty meh. So I'm not ready to, like I said, punt him just yet. But man, if he lays another egg where it's 3 playoff games in a row where he's just not nearly the quarterback he was in the regular season, now it's
Do you think they pull the ripcord here on McCarthy? You think they do?
Yeah, I don't know. Although Jason Garrett was there for a decade, so who knows? Who knows with Jerry Jones? If it's me, the fact that McCarthy got a 3rd season, so he was won 12 games in each of the last 3 seasons. So this was his 4th year, but he's won 12 games in each of the last 3 years, which is impressive, no doubt. But the solution this offseason was to fire Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, and let Mike McCarthy take on the play calling. And in the biggest game of the year, which is what actually matters, that's the postseason, McCarthy and his offense fell behind 27-0. And his quarterback threw a pick 6.
Okay.
And McCarthy nearly had, before they scored that touchdown at the end of the half, they called a play with no timeouts with like 12 seconds left that was short of the goal line. And had it not been for a defensive penalty, they go into the half with no points. It's poor game management. It's just poor readiness. Like, they just don't look ready to play. And I know that that's easy for me to say as somebody sitting there eating popcorn on my couch. But I mean, Green Bay looked like a team. It looked like varsity versus JV.
Yeah.
And that to me, you look up and down the roster, that's not a Cowboys roster problem for me. That's a coaching problem. Like, I think you give the Cowboys to Pete Carroll, or I mean, even Mike Vrabel, I think you get a much better version of the Cowboys.
Okay.
So
yeah, I would like to see what happens here. I mean, it's intriguing, but again, he doesn't like to pull the trigger here on his coaches, and
I know
he needs to.
Weird. I agree.
To his own detriment. I mean, he's running out of these. Not like he gets to go do this. He doesn't get to live forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So does he ride it out, or does he start hitting the panic button and trying to find that Super Bowl winning formula? Did you see the stat that the Texans, since their first season in 2002, have more playoff wins than the Cowboys?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's tough.
Yikes. All 3 teams that I thought were the real threats to the Niners in the NFC are gone. So we sat here a lot and talked about, hey, the Rams are playing well.
I didn't like, I mean, I was never sold on the Rams, but I get it. And I do think that offensively with Kyron Williams are good. Puka's been amazing all season long. He was spectacular.
Really good. Holy
cow, he was good. That was a heck of a football game.
That was the only good one of the weekend.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game. So
many of those games turned into background noise.
Yeah.
I was doing stuff around the house.
Yeah, I mean, I may or may not have gone to Sonoma for the weekend and watched, I watched, but
no,
like on my phone somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that was the beauty. That's the beauty of how some of those games went. I was like, all right, well, this one's over.
Yeah,
I don't know how this one's gonna go. Yeah, the Packers were the only upset of the weekend. Yeah, 7-2, first 7 seed to ever win. Yeah, the Cowboys were another team. It's like, if you're the Niners, I don't know if you want to, like, you've beaten the Cowboys, but do you want to see them again for the 3rd time in 3 years in the playoffs? And if you did, it would be the NFC title game. Like, that's a tough matchup. The Eagles, what are they going to look like in the playoffs? Yeesh.
Man, I think the Niners fully broke the Eagles.
It feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, what a collapse. And, they're sitting there like making excuses going to pregame. Oh, he's got a dislocated finger from like a week ago. It's like, okay, like, look, either he plays or he doesn't. And then he threw that dart down the field. It was just gorgeous. Like, okay, man, like his finger's fine.
Yeah, I thought Hurts was pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, they just
really, they were missing AJ Brown, and it's very clear there's something wrong with that team.
Yeah, something broke, and that's where you're like, oh, are they going to make a change as well? Like, this is an interesting couple of weeks here. There's a lot of head coach vacancies already, and there could be a bunch more, which is wild.
Jim Harbaugh's already interviewing for jobs.
Oh yeah,
Bill Belichick. That was weird. The Falcons last night tweeting, "We have interviewed Bill. We have completed our interview with Bill Belichick." Wild, dude. Like not that he interviewed with the Falcons. I think it was Ramsey called in last week and was like, "Hey, does this fit?" It's like, yeah, no, it kind of makes sense to me. But I only know Bill Belichick is the head coach of the Patriots. And he's had so much success because his first year there, I think I was 9 years old. This is my first like real like conscious watching of football.
Yeah.
And it's just been Bill Belichick, and the Patriots have been awesome. And now Bill Belichick like interviewing for other jobs, like he's just some generic ass head coach. That's so weird to me.
It's almost like he should be able to just walk in the door and say, "Hey, I've decided I'm going to be your head coach." And so you just fire the guy.
No, exactly.
Like, hey, we're sorry, Kyle Shanahan. You're gonna have to leave. Bill Belichick showed up and he said he wants your job, and so we gave it to him. And like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, take care, man.
Take care.
Yeah,
like,
no, I just
on the flip side.
Somebody made the joke on the Falcons tweet that like, nah, they were like, no, sweetie, Bill Belichick interviewed you.
Yeah.
And that really, I think that's probably how that's probably going to go whenever he interviews. It's just so bizarre seeing Bill Belichick, who is without question the greatest NFL head coach of all time.
Yeah.
He is on the Mount Rushmore and in the Washington spot comfortably.
Yes.
And he's just interviewing for jobs like he's just Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator, also interviews for jobs. Like they're not on the same plane.
I would love it if like
weird.
They only interviewed great coaches. So like the Falcons, it's like Pete Carroll's coming in next.
Yeah.
And they just keep bringing in like legends of the game to like interview for the coaching job. And then it goes to like the guy you just
Bobby Slowick.
Yeah, Bobby Slowick. We're like, wait, we settled on Slowick? What's happening here?
Like, oh, God.
That's when people are like, oh, is the owner cheap? Like, what happened here?
Or did they just not want to coach the Falcons?
Yeah, it's very possible that they looked at their quarterback stable and went,
That's what's weird about Atlanta is they're so loaded offensively.
Yeah.
But they got questions on defense. They got questions at quarterback. They might be a couple years away from winning. So we'll see how that plays out. Any NFL coaching news, we will have it for you. We'll also have any NBA trade rumors, NBA trade deadline, scuttlebutt murmurs, I believe is our word.
Yeah.
Last week. We'll have all that for you right here on ESPN 1320, both myself and James here on the Insiders, and then D'Lo and KC, of course, will stay on top of that as well. Let's dive into the Sacramento Kings weekend. A couple of losses for them. Which one was worse, the blowout in Philly or the overtime loss to Milwaukee? We will break all of that down next on the Insiders. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
How much time do I have? I got time, right? I'm going to grab more coffee.
Okay. James is going to go get coffee. Maybe I'll go get tea at the next break. I've been on a big chai kick lately. I'm not a big tea guy, like really at all. But I've not found one. I'll do like every once in a while, especially during the summer, I'll do like a milk tea. I don't like the boba in it though. I love a like a brown sugar milk tea. But man, a good chai is just I haven't done dirty chai yet. I sure would like to. Maybe I'll do that at the coffee shop today on my way home. Yeah, no, like it's fine. Like it's fine for me. Like if I order a like I said, I get like a brown sugar milk tea. If I order it and there's boba in it, I'm not gonna be like, ew, no. But I definitely prefer it without. It's just a weird thing. Yeah. It felt like as he was bringing the ball up the floor, it's kind of like, uh-oh. Yeah, no doubt. I need to try this. What is Thai tea? Someone enlighten me. I don't want to Google it. Actually, I mean, I will Google it, but I would like to know. What is Thai tea? Wrong answers only. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. Yeah, see, this guy gets it. Oh, that sounds delightful. That sounds really good. Tea cozy. All right, good to know. Hey, RP, isn't today the day that Zach LaVine's gonna get traded to the Kings? Wasn't Jan 16 your date for that? Oh, I see. Got it. I thought you were saying that was the name of a drink. Thai tea. Oh, that man. All right, I'm trying to Thai tea. What up, Manny? Dude, they opened up. So it used to be like a little bit of a drive to get to a boba shop from my house. They opened one up right around the corner.
Oh,
Legit,
no.
there's a path that you walk behind my house. It's like less than a mile, and there's a boba shop at the end of it. It's super dangerous.
Has your dad
tomorrow,
found it yet?
Zach LaVine's getting traded to the Kings tomorrow. You said what?
Does your dad walk to it?
No, my dad lives on a different side of town.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because I know he walks to Jamba.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's funny. I live here. My parents are 5.3 miles over here. My in-laws are 5.3 miles over here from my parents' house, and then like 8 miles from us. We live in almost like an equilateral triangle.
Oh, yeah. That's nice, though, having your folks around.
Oh, for sure. And the folks are the homies, so
yeah,
being near them is a ton of fun. All right, let's party. This is one of those questions that, it's like MJ versus LeBron, right? Like it's just one of those never ending things. There's never that debate is going to rage as long as there's basketball, right? Or until another player comes along who is in the discussion. And then one of those personal questions for me is whether I would have my favorite team lose in a blowout or lose on like a buzzer beater or a last second field goal or a bottom of the ninth home run or a walk-off home run. Like I always let that clang around in my head because my answer changes depending on the day. And so the Kings embodied that perfectly this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
On Friday, they played the 76ers and they got smoked. There was never really close. Never a spot in that game where you're going, oh man, they might do this.
No.
The Sixers were just better. But then you get a couple nights later, you get a game in Milwaukee where, all right, hey, tie it in the final seconds. De'Aaron finishes over Giannis. Incredible bucket. You're going to OT. You go up 6 in OT. Oh, you trick it. Dame hits the buzzer beater. It's like, God, it's brutal. And so for me, I look at that and I go, man, I would so much rather lose the way they lost in Philly, where you could chalk it up to, not their night. Versus you look at the game against Milwaukee and you go, man, if you play 20% better defense on Dame at the end, or if you make a free throw, like it's all these like little things that could easily go your way that don't, and it ends in a loss. That's tough.
Okay, so Kyle, if I were a player, I think the Philly game, you just you wash right out, you forget about, you just move on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bucks game is a game where you really, really take it to heart because again, De'Aaron Fox and missed one free throw right at the end of the game. But at 18 seconds, Malik Monk missed a pair and totally uncharacteristic. Malik Monk took to Twitter and apologized. He apologized to Sacramento fans. This particular team, I normally would say, yeah, one blowout game here and there, that's fine. But this particular team, I'm done with the blowout losses.
Even to Philly?
Stand up. No, Okay, yeah, they get blown out to Philly without Joel Embiid, and then they take the Bucks to the wire. They lose in overtime. The Bucks are a great team. Philly's a great team. The Bucks are ahead of the Sixers in the standings. So if you can do it one night, you can do it another night. And for me, this team way too often just mentally is not prepared to play and gets stomped. So at this point, I would much prefer that they start showing that they're learning how to win again, because the fact that you can beat the Pistons or Charlotte, but again, they've also beat the Nuggets, they've beat the Timberwolves, they've beat the Lakers, they've beat all of these. The Thunder, they beat them twice. They've already beat the Suns twice. The fact that you can beat those teams, the Western Conference teams, that's one thing, but I would have liked to have seen a win against a really, really good Eastern Conference opponent. And if nothing else, I think they walked out of that game saying, okay, maybe we are good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe we can hang. Maybe we are one Kevin Huerter hot shooting night away from being legitimately back to who we were.
Yep.
And so I'm okay with the loss, and I hope it stings, because you know what? This team is a horrible free throw shooting team, Kyle.
They're very bad.
De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, they're the worst. Get in the gym and hit your free throws. If you got to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. But the fact that you can't hit free throws is a huge problem. Those guys right there, both are underperforming so badly. They're the two best they go to the line more than anyone else on the team. And they can't hit their free throws. I mean, Fox is shooting, 73%? Sabonis is shooting in the 60s. That's not good enough. If you want to be a great team, then do the basics. That's a basic of NBA basketball. So, yeah, you're going to lose games where you don't hit your free throws. And when you're 30th in the league in free throws, free throw percentage, hey, look, you're going to lose close games.
Yep.
That's part of growing up and being a good team, is being able to take care of business in those situations. So the second Dame let that ball, it came off his hand. I think everybody watching went, oh, well, they lost that one.
Yeah.
You didn't even defend him. You didn't even step up.
Yeah.
I mean, Sabonis stood back maybe 3 feet above the 3-point line as a secondary defender.
Yeah.
And that's Damian Lillard. You got to pick him up at half court.
This is not new. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That was wild to me.
Yeah.
That not only did he get a clean look, but look, you deserve to lose that game. You gave that game away. Should have been up 6 with 18 seconds left. Ball game.
And that's especially brutal because you look at the West right now. The Clippers are 2 games up on the Kings.
Yeah.
And then the Kings right now are effectively tied with Dallas and Portland. New Orleans, not Portland. Dallas and New Orleans. And New Orleans is a 7 seed. So every single game that is there for the taking, especially against a good Eastern Conference team, like, you have to go get that one.
Yeah.
And that really stinks. I think a silver lining from that game is that you mentioned Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's so clear that not everything that's gone wrong with the Kings this year is because of Kevin Huerter. I'm not putting that all on one player. But it is so clear when you go, man, what's wrong with the Kings offense? It's like, man, you got a guy who's a career 40+% 3-point shooter shooting it like sub 35%.
Yeah.
And when he is connecting, it changes the gravity of their offense. Now all of a sudden the Bucks are scrambling as he runs off his screen. Now other things are open and he's knocking down threes. It's just if he has a normal 2 for 9 kind of night, they lose that game going away.
Oh yeah.
So I think so much hinges on what they're getting out of that shooting guard position. And I think it just kind of underscores everything we've talked about going into the trade deadline. It's like, if you know for a fact you're getting that version of Kevin Huerter night in and night out, where he's and he scored 26 points and had 10 boards. We're not asking for 26 and 10 from Kevin Huerter every night, but just how effective he was.
Well, it's just how engaged he was.
Yes.
Like the 10 rebounds, huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that Harrison Barnes, I think, had 1 rebound again, like, it stands out. Like, there has to be a way to get these things for a player like him to get something done. Like, realistically, I had him as one of my 6 quick thoughts. I had Harrison. And the only reason he was in there is because I didn't want to go back and erase him and put in Trey Lyles. It was too late in the game.
Mhm.
Trey Lyles deserved to to be in the 6 quick thoughts way before Harrison Barnes. He ended up with 5 or 6 rebounds, 9 points, but he was a guy in crunch time.
Mhm.
That's who you're starting to rely on. So
As they should.
Yeah.
I feel like nothing bad ever happens when Trey Lyles is on the court.
I
know
agree.
I know that's probably not the case, but anecdotally in my head,
Yeah,
when Trey Lyles is on the court, just good stuff happens, man.
I also think that right now you're seeing the same thing out of Trey Lyles. Out of Alex Len. Every time Alex Len is in the game, like you feel really good about what's happening. I don't know why, because Alex Len is who he is. The fact is, he's always in the right position. You're like, boy, Alex Len is literally in the right position at all times.
I think it's because the Kings are so wobbly this year, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Like they're better than they were at this point last year, record-wise, but it's a lot less consistent. It's a lot less stable, right? When Trey Lyles comes in, it feels stable. When Alex Len is in the game, it feels more stable.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's just me and how I'm confirming my own biases or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really how it feels when those two guys in particular are on the court. Harrison Barnes, not so much.
I think it really stood out when every week I do my week in review on the Kings beat, right? And so when I'm doing my week in review, I go through and I recap every game just to make sure that everyone remembers what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Every single game this week and probably the week before, there were 4 players. Every single game except for when Herter stepped up in Milwaukee. But all I talk about is Sabonis, Fox, Murray, and Monk. That's it. They're like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse riding through wherever the Kings go.
Sure.
They're the guys.
Yeah.
These other players have to make some sort of impact in a game.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be scoring a bunch of points, but it has to be some sort of impact. And I think Trey Lyles, Alex Len has like a 129 offensive rating and a 110 defensive rating. He's like a plus 19 on this
golly.
Yeah, like net rating at this point. He's been incredible all season long. Anytime he plays. I mean, he did have the long stretch where he's out with the ankle injury, but even before that, he had started to play and doing the same exact thing where he's making an impact. So, yeah, Mike Brown's got a lot of tinkering to do, and I'm okay with the tinkering. I know some fans are like, oh, his rotations are horrible. No, they're not.
Yeah, he's figuring it out.
His rotations are great. He's just trying to find guys that want to play that night.
Mm-hmm.
And most nights he's finding like a huge void. Yeah, how many times in the last 2 weeks has he had a shooting guard score above 20? And it's the one time out of Kevin Herter. How many times do they even score in double figures?
Almost never.
How many times do they combine for double figures? That's where Mike's at, and it's tough.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of Kevin Herter, he's going to be our Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game. Now, we got a fun little wrinkle to this.
Oh.
When you enter to win at ESPN1320.com, and you're going to enter the code word headband.
Oh.
Yeah, headband. All one word. HEADBAND. That's going to be your code word. That qualifies you to not only win a $100 Jiffy Lube gift certificate, you'll also have a chance to win a Kings jersey, courtesy of Jiffy Lube. That's right. Jiffy Lube bought some Kings jerseys and they said, hey, we're giving these away.
Excellent.
So you're not only entering to win that $100 gift certificate, you're also entering to win a Kings jersey. So do that now at ESPN1320.com. You'll see the Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game, a brand new logo, fresh look. It looks great. You click on that. Shout out to Megan in promotions. You click on that. You enter the code word headband, all one word, HEADBAND. Enter to win that $100 Jiffy Lube gift certificate and a Sacramento Kings jersey, courtesy of our friends at Jiffy Lube. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We love Jiffy Lube.
We got, we're giving away, what do we know? Like one a month?
One a month.
One a month for the next 4 months.
Winner will be drawn at the end of the month, save for the April one, which will be drawn at the end of the season.
Oh.
End of the regular season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So go do that right now at ESPN1320.com. Code word is headband because Kevin Herter is our Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game for Friday. We will tell you who Sundays is a little bit later on in the show. All right. More Kings, more football, plenty coming up on the Insiders on ESPN 1320.
Yeah. Actually, I think that one right there, the Herder headband is for Sunday's game.
What?
Huh?
What happened?
Herder's for Sunday.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah,
My bad.
Herder's for Sunday.
All right, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Herd is the first one. Headband. You're welcome.
There it is.
We were talking about him and I panicked, and I also shouldn't have gone to break there. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry if I
Oh no, it's not. That's
ran
not
us a
on
little
you.
long.
I need to hustle up my freaking thing.
Yeah. We're good.
Oh, I have a voicemail. I don't like that. Hang on.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, like the murmur, it's been a little weird all weekend. I did there was some rumor about Clint Capella. I don't think that that's legit. So, that was by someone that, to be honest with you, I don't know at all in the industry. And not to say that just because someone isn't, standard operating guy in the industry that he won't know something. But I got like a shrug, like I haven't heard that one from one of my sources that I trust that may or may not have some insight into what's going on in Atlanta. I think Clint Capella. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Pascal Siakam has told teams he will not give a commitment to re-sign with any team that is not the Raptors. He will not give a verbal commitment whatsoever with the Pacers, the Hawks, the Kings, the Warriors, or any other team that trades for him. He wants to test out free agency. Yeah. And then he will realize that sign-in trades are dead and that you should have taken a trade when you could, because you can still test out free agency. A major offensive shakeup. The Saints are moving on from Pete Carmichael.
Yeah, we're talking about that for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah. Good phone call, Kyle?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think it's somebody at the homeowners association.
I don't think people still
I hope it's not. It definitely is.
What?
Somebody with the homeowners association.
Calling to complain?
I don't know what they want from me.
Oh. I didn't know you had a homeowners association.
Yeah, it's the worst. Okay, here we go. Quick correction. That Jiffy Lube Fast Break Player of the Game was for Sunday. Kevin Herter was our Jiffy Lube Fast Break Player of the Game for Sunday. We will tell you Friday's winner a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Code word still works though.
Yep.
Headband.
There we go.
Is your code word. $100 gift certificate and a chance to win a Kings jersey.
Kings jersey.
That's big time. Shout out to our friends at Jiffy Lube.
I need to go check out. Do we have the Kings jerseys in here yet, or are they not here?
I don't believe they are in the building just yet.
Okay.
But I have not confirmed that.
Okay. Yeah, neither have I. So we'll have to go. I'll have to go see what's going on.
Hey, what'd you think about Mike Brown's presser the other night where he called out the officials after getting ejected, but he didn't really call out the officials? And this is why I thought it was great. In the post-game presser, because I went through to watch it because I was going to do a tweet where I said a quote and said, this is going to cost Mike Brown X amount of dollars.
Yep.
But I went back through and watched it. And all he did was explain why he got ejected. Like he was showing specifically the calls he disagreed with. And then he explained that he was getting the wrong messaging on whether you had to have two hands up or whether the forearm could be down for verticality. And he explained all that. He's going to probably get fined. But I was trying to find like a specific quote of like, oh yeah, that's the money quote. That's going to get him. That's going to make the league mad.
Well,
And I never found it.
first of all, I find it interesting that as of right now, he has not been fined, because usually by this point, you would have already seen it, right? We would have already seen a fine come through for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's been over 24 hours. But the reason why I think that Mike will get fined, there's a potential not only for a fine, but Kyle, in all honesty, I think there's potential for a suspension, a 1-game suspension, is because in his haste to berate the official, he ran out on the court, and while play was in the middle of a play, and ran into Pat Connaughton, which is not okay.
Right.
Because Mike Brown became an obstacle that, again, Connaughton wasn't looking for. He was racing down court, looking back.
Yeah, you can't have your coach setting screens.
Yeah, you can't have your coach inadvertently injure a player either.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that happened, but at some point, Mike lost his cool, but stepping on the court and doing what he did, he ended up making a dangerous play. Now, I agree 100% with his post-game issues.
Yeah.
I went back and looked. The 2-minute report had no errors in the overtime, no errors in regulation. So the officials in the 2-minute report look like they're clean. But the play that Mike was super upset about, it started with the overturn of a Malik Monk drive to the basket, where it was clear that Brook Lopez had an arm out.
And they said not vertical.
They said he didn't extend it. It doesn't matter. He still had an arm in the chest and one up. And then he got pushed over because his arm was out and he fell forward. Right? Well, to review that and to change the ruling when the rule is very clear that it's got to be both hands vertical, and that Domantas Sabonis gets called for it all the time.
Right.
It's super clear. It's what the Kings teach. The two hands, the verticality at the rim. Right. We hear Mike Brown talk about it all the time. Malik Monk, verticality at the rim. Trey Lyles, verticality at the rim. It's two hands up, going straight up and defending the rim, right?
This with the forearm out is a foul 100% of the time.
Yes. And so for them to overturn a call, which, again, just so you know, that call goes to Secaucus. That's reviewed at corporate.
Right.
For them to come back and change a call like that is egregious. It's absolutely really horrible. And then his other point, anytime you lay a finger on Damian Lillard, it's not a foul. It's not a foul unless you're pushing and unless you basically draw him off his line. You push him off his line. De'Aaron Fox got called. They gave Damian Lillard 3 free throws while he had barely had a hand on a hip that made no incidental contact.
Right.
Then you go down to the other end, and he absolutely gets crushed from Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne hooks him, drags him, ball goes up in the air. They call it. They don't call anything. It's a turnover. It's a live ball turnover. The problem the NBA has is that an NBA coach can't throw a red flag.
Right.
Like we have flags here. They don't have flags there, because the only way that you can question an official is if he makes a call on a play. You cannot question calls that he should have made a call on.
Right.
Which is the stupidest thing of all time.
Crazy.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So to me, I get Mike Brown's frustration. He could have handled himself better on the court. I'm totally fine with him losing his mind and getting thrown out of the game. Just don't make it a safety issue on the court.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm totally fine. And then for him to pull out the laptop,
that was great.
Man, it was smooth.
Really good.
It was really, really, really good. And for him to sit there and show the plays and explain why the plays should have been called away, there's
always coaching.
Yeah. I totally love it. And then for Steve Kerr to come out
really funny
and ask for the laptop
on that. So the Warriors lost to some version of the Grizzlies that featured 9 players I've never heard of. They lost 116-107 yesterday in Memphis. Memphis shot, let me see real quick. They shot 50 3-pointers and 40 free throws.
Oh, that's weird.
Isn't
How
that
many times did
bananas?
they against bad players? Like,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
like not to call all these guys out, but like
The Warriors shot 10 free throws.
it feels like every game though, every single day we get an alert as to which Memphis Grizzly is out like 2 to 6 weeks.
Can I oh, we should have played a game where I had 2 Memphis Grizzlies and a lie.
Oh yeah.
Here are some of the players who played big minutes for the Grizzlies last night. Vince Williams Jr. He went 3 for 6 from 3, 6 of 11 from the field. Jaren Jackson, obviously, 3 of 14 from 3 from Triple J, by the way. Fraud. Luke Kennard started. Xavier Tillman started.
Okay.
Zaire Williams, I like Zaire Williams, started. Gregory Jackson II.
Greg.
Obviously. Greg Jackson II. 5 of 8 from 3. 23 points.
Making Greg Jackson the first very proud.
Definitely is. Excuse me. David Roddy saw 21 minutes.
That's rough.
Something named Jacob Gilliard went 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, 4 of 7 from the floor.
You sent that to me, and what did I respond with?
Ooh.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that was the bit. Okay, I wasn't.
You missed that.
I wasn't. Well, it was like a Jake Gyllenhaal crying, and I thought it was like I couldn't tell if he was crying or laughing.
From Brokeback.
Got it. Okay, and then Santi Aldama obviously played.
Okay,
17 minutes. That was
Aldama usually plays for them.
Yeah.
Xavier Tillman is like part of the back end of the rotation, but
if Xavier Tillman is playing 30 minutes for your team, you have a problem. And they won that game.
You know what it is? It's like when Eric Paschall played 25 to 30 minutes for the Warriors and was out of the league 2 years later.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that those guys can't play. They're hoopers.
Yeah.
But if that's who you're running out there, you're not going to be a very good team.
Right.
Unfortunately.
The long-term viability of that is not strong.
No, it's not. Though if those guys are like your third big, your fourth big, fifth big off the, that type of guy, you're fine.
Yeah.
But when they're thrust into starting roles or playing 20 plus minutes, you're usually in trouble.
Yeah, it's tough. Not the way to go. But yeah, so Steve Kerr after the game, after the Grizzlies shot 40 free throws to the Warriors 10, he says to Raymond Ritter, the PR guy.
Yep.
He goes, "Hey Raymond, can you give me that laptop real quick?"
Yeah. The legendary Raymond Ritter, the best media director in all of the NBA.
He's very good.
He wins the Brian McIntyre Award almost every year, which goes to the best PR team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's spectacular, man. Like when I'm on my way down to cover a Kings Warriors game, calls me every single time, checks in, gives me their entire injury report. It's a phone call, not a text.
Yeah.
Shoots the breeze for a few minutes. We catch up. Hey, have a good game. See you later on tonight.
Yep.
Like the best of the best.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Raymond Ritter. So yeah, I loved that Mike Brown did that. I'm a little bit upset that we didn't get a
this is completely BS
kind of rant, but I respect it. I respect that he like I said, this is Mike Brown. This dude wants to coach all the time. And so he went, here we go. Here's exactly what I'm looking at.
Yep.
And that's helpful because you hear a lot of even the Raptors coach.
It's a complete crap.
Didn't have like specific examples. He just said, we shot this many free throws. They shot this many. Scotty Barnes goes to the rim. No calls. Mike Brown went, nope. Here is very specifically what I'm upset at.
Yeah. Let me show you because it's an interpretation of the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up. There is no interpretation of that rule.
Yeah.
Like,
this isn't pass interference where it's like, oh, were they hand fighting? Was that a grab? Was he playing the ball? It's not any of that.
Yeah.
It's a 2 hands straight up. That's verticality.
Yes.
One hand over and another hand down is not.
No.
That's a foul every time.
Every time.
And they overturn.
They overturn it. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
They said it wasn't a foul.
If they would have missed a call, and or if they would have called Monk for an offensive call, right? An offensive foul right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have gone back and reviewed it. You would have expected that to get overturned every single step of the way.
Right.
But for them to not be able to do that and for it to play out like that absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? It's big. Like those are big moments in a game.
Mhm.
And then again, how does De'Aaron Fox, who had a much better game, he's coming
Yeah,
around,
looks
slowly
much
coming
more
around.
normal.
He had a much better game, 31 points, 5 assists, something like that. For him to not get a call where Cameron Payne is literally fighting through a screen and hooking him, and a turnover, a straight up turnover off of a foul like that, just to me, really, really bad.
It's I hate saying outrageous, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he's straight up holding his arm as he runs around the screen. That's an easy call.
There
Super easy call.
was also a play where Malik Monk claimed that the ball wasn't off him out of bounds late in the game.
Mhm.
And Mike Brown wanted to review it, but the officials gave the ball to the Bucks really quickly and let them inbound the ball within like a second.
Mhm.
And I know that got under Mike Brown's skin as well.
Yeah, that's
There was plenty of weirdness. I don't know.
I don't know if
Not great.
I don't know if we just have more access now via television replays and high def and the way they can slow things down and zoom in with super high clarity so you can see if the ball went off somebody's fingertip or whatever. Like there's so many different little things that we can see now, or if officiating's getting worse. I can't
Okay, so in the
can't
NBA
decide.
specifically, I'm gonna say that the officiating has gotten considerably worse. That the NBA during the pandemic lost a solid group of officials, and coming out of like guys have retired, and it's not
Mhm.
an easy job. They've lost a lot of officials, so a lot of time you're going out there with a young crew, and then some of the guys who have developed, like who have come into the league, they come in thinking that they're Joey Crawford, and it's like,
Mhm.
look, man, Joey Crawford spent years cultivating a personality. He watched
Right.
the Naked Gun at least 47 times to figure out how Leslie Nielsen strikes somebody out
Yeah.
before he had crafted who he was going to be as an official, his dances, all that stuff.
Right.
He's one of one. Like nobody else does that.
Mhm.
And for them, guys come into the league with these big like egos, and next thing you know, they're throwing people out all over the place. Like it's not good. Like there are people who have written now. I think Tom Haberstroh has written on the officials. There's one guy who threw out Jokic and threw out a couple. He's been given one playoff assignment in 17 years.
And he's still an official.
So the league doesn't have faith in him to call a playoff game, but regular season, okay. And then he does something
That's
like
so wild.
throw out a 2-time MVP who's never been thrown out before, or maybe he has, but it's been like very, very sparingly.
And wasn't it on like Serbian night
Oh, it was
in Chicago?
Serbian Heritage Night.
Yeah. And he threw him out for talking.
Oh yeah.
It feels like there's a new level of friction, specifically in the NBA, between players and officials.
I also think that part of it is
It's very adversarial.
It is, but I think a lot of it is that a lot of the stars are aging, and the new stars, they want that. They want what the old stars got.
Mhm.
But like De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento is still not getting star calls. He's never going to get star calls.
Mhm.
That Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland is not going to get star calls.
Mhm.
Like a lot of your star level players now are playing in smaller markets, and that's a problem because
Mm.
I just don't think that the league is ready for that. They don't know how to like
I don't know. Maybe just officiate the game.
maybe just call it straight up, Kyle.
Right.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. You know what else I hate? Just while we're here, while we're complaining about
Yeah.
officials, you know what else I hate? Is the not going to blow the whistle until I see whether the shot goes in or not. There was the first time I became like really acutely aware of this was the like I knew it happened because it's very obvious. You can see when like a guy goes in, there's contact, and his shot bounces off the rim a couple times, and then it falls off. Whistle. It's like okay. It looks like a ref explicitly said after a Warriors Pelicans playoff game, the one where Curry hit the 3 in the corner back in 2015 in New Orleans, and he just got hammered when he shot it. The ref said after the game, if he had missed, we would have blown the whistle.
Oh.
And like, what? You openly admit that? That's just a thing? Like either blow the whistle or don't. I feel like because there's so much access now that refs know that they're being scrutinized so heavily, and so it puts this like added weight or pressure on when to call, when to make a call, when to not make a call. And I think it just ties them in knots. Like, it's a hard game to officiate. And honestly, when in doubt, swallow the whistle, man.
I
Like,
guess
less fouls is better than more fouls.
I get that, but again, we had this situation in the Bucks game where De'Aaron Fox went up for a 3-pointer and was clearly hit on the arm. The ball comes up 5 feet short, and the guy was nowhere near a blocking the shot.
Yeah.
And to miss that, but to call the hand on the hip every single time on Damian Lillard, it's like, come on, man. Like, just call the game fair. Just call it. And I think that's, at the end of the day, what Mike is asking for.
Yes.
Just number one, abide by your own rules. Don't make up rules for yourself. Like, if Giannis Antetokounmpo bull rushes Domantas Sabonis and Sabonis is holding his ground and Giannis comes up and pops him in the face with an elbow, first of all, don't call a defensive foul, which they did. Mike has to challenge it. That, number one, it wastes his challenge. So if he's wrong, which unfortunately for Mike Brown, he might be one of the worst challenging coaches that I've ever seen.
He feels like he challenges from emotion a lot.
Yeah, way too often do they get a challenge wrong.
Yeah.
So he challenges it. They win the challenge, but it's called a common foul. Like, you elbow a player in the face, it's a flagrant foul. Like, call it straight up. That's all it is. And I know it wasn't a clear he's trying to injure a player, but if you have to go back and see video evidence, which they did, and you see that he clocks your dude in the face with an elbow, it's a flagrant foul.
It should be.
It is. It's a flagrant. So call it accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, I just really
the frustrating thing beyond that is you go back to the De'Aaron play, the 3 where he got hit on the arm.
Oh yeah.
If he was following through and it was hand in hand contact on the follow through, and that's a no call, like, okay.
Yeah.
But when the shot comes up that short, I don't understand as an official how something doesn't go off in your brain and go, oh man, okay, there was contact there and that shot was way short. That was obviously a foul. But the problem is okay, maybe the ref didn't see it, just genuinely didn't see it, and that's fine. The problem is, and the problem I have, and I think the problem you have, and I think the problem that Mike Brown has, is if you reverse the roles there, because I'm pretty sure it was Dame that hit him. If you reverse those roles, and it's De'Aaron closing out on Damian Lillard
single time,
that is a whistle, and they're not even thinking twice about it, whether they saw it or not.
Yep.
And that's the frustration.
Well, that, and I assume the official doesn't know that De'Aaron Fox is shooting 39% from 3.
That shouldn't matter though. That could be me. That could be me shooting that 3. And if I get hacked on the arm, it is a foul.
Yep.
Call it.
Yep.
So I'm typically on the side of less fouls are better than more, or fewer fouls is better than more. But I mean that mostly in the like touch foul variety. The hand incidental contact on the hip while Damian Lillard shooting a 3-pointer, for example.
Yeah.
Like, man, not everything has to be a whistle. And if you've got a question, just let them play.
Yeah.
I would so much rather that than see a 40-10 free throw discrepancy. Or what was it that the Raptors coach was complaining about?
Oh, it was bad.
23-2 or whatever, 22-2 in the final quarter.
Yeah, in the final quarter, it was something egregious like that.
You know what it was?
It's a complete crap.
Exactly
I
what it was.
I totally agree with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a complete crap.
Fewer fouls always.
Now, Kyle, in the NFL, I do think that replay and everything else has played a huge role in specifically how the goal line is called. Because I just remember, like, either you got in or you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like every single one is like a Zapruder film, and we're like watching, like, except for it's not grainy. We would know exactly who spit on who. Like the way that it's like we're watching every angle. It's like,
nice, dude.
Like you can see like a blade of grass touches his knee as the ball is like a quarter of an inch away from the goal line. Nope, it's not a touchdown.
And it's so crazy that in the NFL they still spot the ball the way they do, with refs just kind of like, it's about here. Like in tennis, we've got it down to like where a hair on the tennis ball or a fuzz from the tennis ball is on the line, so it's in. And in the NFL, they're just like,
What's even worse, Kyle, is the guy is running in from the side. Like,
yeah,
and he's jumping over players and he's like ducking and he's like, by the time he gets there, he takes the ball and he definitively puts it down. You're like, well, that's crazy, bro. I don't know. I don't know how you know exactly where you are on the field at this point, but how do you know where that ball is?
Or where, this is my favorite one, when they set it down and then they kind of look and then move it back half an inch. Like, how do you know? How do you have any idea? That's you're guessing.
Measure twice, cut once. I don't get, man, I don't know.
I don't either. The NFL, my problem is the NBA, it's so hard. It's so, because there's so much flow to the game, right?
Yes.
And so even if you were to say, hey, we're going to challenge, we're going to be able to review everything. Okay, De'Aaron thought he got hit on the arm. There's no way there's no stoppage in play where you can go look at that. There will be a stoppage eventually, but you can't then go look and go, okay, hang on, give him free throws. We got to reset. That's just, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the NFL, there's stoppages after every play. It's so easy to have a person watching on TV. It can be some guy named Dale drinking a Budweiser with a replay where he goes, yeah, he's in, or nah, it's not a catch. And just call down to the refs and be like, hey, you got it wrong.
Yeah.
While the teams are, you don't even have to stop anything. And it would be so easy with a very minor investment in terms of what the NFL is doing. And I think it would make the product so much better.
I don't know how they don't have some sort of tracker in the ball to know exactly where it goes, where it is.
Again, that to me that's expensive. Expensive, quote unquote, that's going to cost the league some amount of money. And then you have to equip the stadiums, which I'm with you, dude. Just do that and make that investment. You're going to make tens of billions of dollars this year.
You can't put an air tag on that thing so we know exactly where it is. Just air tag it.
The new eyeball.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I'm with you, man. It's just, in terms of in the scope of what the NFL makes, it would be such a minor investment to make the product 50 times better by eliminating some of the trash calls, by eliminating bad spots, by eliminating the waiting 2.5 minutes while they sit there and look and go, was he in? Was he not? Like, nah, man, get me the chip in the ball. How far did the ball go? Did it get over the line? Yes. Cool. VAR technology. We're in there.
Yes.
You don't have to sit there and take 2 minutes to guess. And by the way, the NFL also used to have like a 90-second timer on reviews.
Not anymore.
They need to re-implement that because it's clear and conclusive. If it's not done in 90 seconds, it is neither clear nor conclusive. You're done.
You know what, Kyle? In our next segment, we should talk about Major League Baseball.
Robot umps.
The umpiring in Major League Baseball.
Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the NFL when we come back. Was this the best possible weekend for the 49ers? And we'll look just a quick look ahead to some of the divisional matchups. We'll dig in more later in the week, but let's look at how the dust is settled on Wildcard Weekend. We've also got more Kings coming up right here on ESPN 1320. I'm about to have a King stat for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm always up for a good King stat. I'm back to this weird thing where Twitter will mess with my following count all the time. It's the strangest thing. I literally will gain 140 Twitter followers in like a day and then lose 80. And I'm like, what exactly is happening?
Bots, dog.
Bots. I've been blocking a lot of bots.
Me too. I block any advertisement that comes across my timeline.
Okay. I've been blocking, like, I have Russian propaganda bots.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like the anti-Ukraine bots. It's not great.
Oh, dude, this stat is a banger.
Oh, I'm here for it.
About 2 minutes to the second hour.
What's going on, everybody? You all, everybody. You all, everybody. Did you ever watch Lost?
Nope.
You've never watched Lost TV show?
No, it's one of those shows that all I ever saw was people bitching about it, so I never felt a real desire to watch it.
Oh, it's good.
Same thing with Dexter. Like, I'm sure Dexter is great, but all I saw was people whining about the ending, so I'm just like, nah, I'm out.
Well, yeah, but the original Dexter versus a new Dexter. Yeah. Dexter was hardcore. No update on Keegan Murray yet. For Spencer, you're asking. He this morning was still on the injury report as questionable with hip agitation, which is the Kings' new
Agitation?
It's their new gastroenteritis.
Oh, get that agitation, please.
I can look right. Oh my goodness.
Is it a strain or not?
Did the Nuggets get fined for not putting people on the injury list?
Oh, is that a thing that happened?
I think that it is because I'm looking at their list now. Caldwell Pope is probable. Kankar is out. Aaron Gordon is probable. Nikola Jokic is probable. Jamal Murray is probable. Jalen Pickett is available. Michael Porter Jr. is probable. Julian Stather is out. And Hunter Tyson is available. So they've decided to put everybody on there. So they must have. Yeah, right hip irritation.
Oh, 10 seconds. Here we go. I've got a banger of a Kevin Huerter stat for you coming up.
Ooh.
I'm Kyle Madsen. That's James Ham. We're taking you right up to noon here on the Insiders before we hand it off to D'Lo and KC. And they will take you up to 4 o'clock. The Sacramento Kings facing the Phoenix Suns tonight. We will dig into that game a little bit later on. We've already done our first Jiffy Lube Fast Break player of the game for Sunday's game. That was Kevin Huerter. ESPN1320.com. Click on the Jiffy Lube Fast Break contest page. It's front and center. Enter the code word headband for your chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube gift certificate and your chance to win a Sacramento Kings jersey.
Entered into a contest to win a monthly giveaway of a Sacramento Kings jersey.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
I think we've got some good ones too.
We do.
Yeah. I want to see them before
Before you pump them up too much.
Yeah. I want to
that.
see which ones we got.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
A lot of JaVale McGee's, I heard. They put me in charge of ordering them. It's JaVale McGee, Colby Jones,
JTA.
Juan Toscano Anderson. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
And we did not get the potentially getting traded jerseys.
No,
we didn't go that way.
Yeah, no,
That's all. Yeah.
We did not. So we'll be giving away a Kings jersey a month the rest of the way.
That's right.
Do you want to do our second one right now?
Yeah, that's fine.
From Friday's game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Keegan Murray on Friday. Not a ton to pick from, but Keegan had a pretty good game. He had a couple of blocks. He had 8 rebounds, and he had 15 points. He had a steal in there, a couple assists. So pretty good night overall for Keegan on a night where the Kings did not look very good. The code word there, same place, ESPN1320.com, Jiffy Lube Fast Break, player of the game contest page. Enter the code word Murray, Murray, code word Murray, for your chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube gift certificate and your chance to win a Sacramento Kings jersey. Murray and headband. You can enter twice. You can do one of each, and you will be entered twice to win that gift certificate and that jersey.
Here in the chat, Polo L, any Quincy AC jerseys, a Travis Outlaw jersey, perhaps?
No,
Although
they left those out.
I did cover both of those guys. I Quincy Acey twice.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Outlaw, I think, for a season and a half.
This time of year, you're kind of hoping that it's Quincy Heater, though. Am I right?
Okay. Yeah. Don't be an outlaw there.
Instead of Quincy
AC.
No?
Quincy Acey was a good dude, and he always had his son with him. Like, his son was with him in the locker room all the time.
Mhm.
Very, very nice dude.
Good.
And so was Travis Outlaw. Travis Outlaw, like, super, super quiet. Very, very quiet. What do they call him? They call him Sippy Boy. That's his nickname.
If somebody calls me Sippy Boy, we're fighting.
Yeah, but I think that's his nickname. So like
that, it's his, like, from his friends or his family.
Yeah. Like, whatever it is, like, that's
Okay.
So, anyway, he was.
That's the kind of thing. If somebody around here that I was not like a lifelong friend or a family member or something, call me Sippy Boy, we got a little problem.
Yeah. He was really good before he got to the Kings. When he got to the Kings, he went from being like a really solid, super athletic six man that could score on anybody to what happens to almost every free agent that's ever signed in Sacramento. They trip over like a squirrel coming into the building and forget how to play basketball. I covered a lot of free agents that's exactly what happened.
Yikes.
Like, they just forgot how to play.
Did you say trip over a squirrel?
Yeah. It's possible.
Please explain.
I'm just saying that, like, every time it looked like how many players I covered that signed big contracts in Sacramento as free agents, and we get 3 weeks into the season, we get 2 months into the season, you go, oh, he's never living up to that contract.
No, I get that. I follow. I'm with you. Tripping over a squirrel is really where I'm fixated right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is that a phrase you use?
No, a squirrel can dart out in front of you at any time. No, but like, I don't know. Banana peel? Would you rather I say they slipped on a banana pill?
Maybe this is up in the lakes where you live, that squirrels are just kamikaze tripping people right and left.
Do you have squirrels? So I mean, like,
yes, I have squirrels.
Okay, so what I always feel like in the lake, like, you're always
farm dog.
You come out and there's a squirrel, right? And he's darting in and out of traffic. You know he's done. Like, that's his last day.
He's toast.
Whatever got in his little squirrely brain, he's done for the day.
Yeah.
He's done. Like, that's it. So you'll come back through in the same path like 2 hours later, and sure enough, there he is.
There's
Squirrel puppet.
Former squirrel.
Yeah, former squirrel.
Yo, hey, I'm so glad we're talking about not squirrels getting run over. What is it about deer?
Oh, deer are the stupidest things alive.
Bro, no, but when you're driving and you see a squirrel on the side of the road, you don't even think about it. You see a dog, you might be like, where's that dog's owner? You see a cat, you're just like, oh, there's a cat. You see a deer on the side of the road, at least for me and where I'm from, it is like, stop everything. And sure enough, today, I'm driving up 160, I'm coming through Locke. It's a little river town.
Okay.
And I come around this corner and there is this deer, antlers and everything, just standing on the side of the road. I turned my music off and I just like basked in the fact that I saw a deer. And I'm a couple miles up the road. I'm like, why do I care so much that I saw a deer? It's just a deer. It's just a short giraffe. And I'm freaking out of it. Not freaking out like in a bad way, but just like, wow, that is so cool that I just saw such a majestic creature. That's a deer. There's millions of deer.
Kyle, my backyard is a soup kitchen. I got deer babies like nonstop all year long. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't even want to know how many deer have been born in my backyard. So for me, I don't have any tie. The deers can go away. They eat my garden. They're in the, like, I do not stop. The only reason I would slow down is because the deer are so stupid that they're going to run out in front of me and total my car.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I think that was part of the reason today, because the deer I saw, because it's very dark when I'm driving in, and then my headlights just came on it and it was just like bang.
There it is.
And it's like, man, if that was in the road, that's going to do some damage to my car. I mean, and I think that was part of it, that I was like feeling lucky that it didn't jump out in front of me, but no, it's a beautiful creature, and deers are amazing. I love the soup kitchen reference. That was very, very good. I love that you have Dirty Mike and the boys are the deer that hang out behind your house.
Somehow we just blew through an entire segment talking about squirrels and deer.
Well, you said tripped over a squirrel, which is
Like
a nutso thing to say.
A banana peel, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
slipped on a banana peel.
hit
That
their
makes
head.
sense.
They can't
That's
play
a
basketball
classic
anymore.
comedy slapstick trope
I guess.
of failure. You slipped and fell on a banana peel. You get it. But Mario Kart, fine. Tripped on a squirrel? Nah. That's going to stick in my head.
All right.
Anyways.
It's happened. Just saying. Travis Outlaw, one of his nicknames, Mr. Fourth Quarter. Not in Sacramento, he wasn't. He never got to play in the fourth quarter. It was over long before then.
Fourth quarter.
There was a time in his I think his final season in Sacramento. Maybe it was his second to last season in Sacramento. He hadn't hit a 3-pointer in like 29 consecutive games.
Good Lord.
And that's like before he came to Sacramento, he was a solid
decent 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the NFL. Any surprises this weekend besides the Cowboys for you?
I was surprised the Eagles didn't put up more. Like,
the Cowboys face planting to me was kind of like, oh, okay. I'm surprised they got blown out this badly, but Cowboys face plant. I thought for sure the Eagles were going to get to the postseason and have something. I didn't necessarily think they were going to win, but I thought they were going to have something for Tampa Bay, and they just had nothing. That was shocking to me.
Yeah, I think that was surprising. But outside of that, no. Like most of the games, especially the AFC, went as they should have gone.
Yeah.
And again, I like that weather, I don't think played all of the role. Because we talked about it last week. Like, I'm okay with like a week 13 weather game.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I don't want teams advancing in the playoffs who have no business being there.
Sure.
Except for like a snowstorm came in and they just were a better team that day. Because to me, that doesn't set up for the best football.
I think the Miami game, the Miami Kansas City game, was probably impacted the most by the weather. But I don't think anyone walked into that game going, yeah, you know what? Miami's the better team here. I think the result was still how it probably should have gone.
Well, and if Miami didn't want to play in the cold weather, they probably should have just played better the last month of the season, and then they wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, their injuries were a problem.
No, they were.
That was going to keep them from making any kind of real run anyways. It would have been fine if they beat Kansas City. But when you're that banged up, when you're signing veteran defensive ends off the street the week of your playoff game.
Oh, yeah, not good.
To start and like play a lot, that's not a great sign. So
nope.
No, I'm with you. I love a bad weather game as much as the next guy, but if Pittsburgh had beaten the Bills in a blizzard because there was a fumble that they returned,
running backs that like are better in the snow.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, but I do love a snow game. Boy, do I love a snow game.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess, Kyle, the Texans beating the Browns like that, like beating them like a drum.
Same. The Browns defense not having anything for Houston was pretty wild.
I think Flacco broke their spirit early though, didn't he?
Well, they were up 14-10.
Yeah.
And then they made it 17-14, and then very rapidly a couple pick sixes kind of iced it.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it was that. But I thought Jim Schwartz was going to have some kind of curveball for CJ Stroud, and he just didn't. And Stroud just torched him. In fact, you know what? We got to revisit Mad Props. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, because there's an interesting quarterback conversation here. And then I've got a banger of a Kevin Herter stat I want to lay on you at some point as well. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Keegan Murray in the first quarter dropped his shoulder coming around the corner, and then of course Fox gets a steal and a breakaway. But see, there's the same exact thing. Sabonis early in the game, there was another play where Lillard got the ball quick after a Fox breakaway, and Sabonis maybe stepped out a little bit more, and Lillard blew right by him. So maybe that was in his mind that they didn't need a three to beat the Kings. I mean, they needed a three to beat them, but that wasn't the only shot opportunity. Kings getting torn up by Bobby Portis was not a good thing. The game is replaying right now on NBA TV for those who are wondering. Oh, there was a question that I starred.
Oh,
It also appears that you starred a question.
yeah, I think I starred.
About a loose leaf tee.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Blake.
James III's player involved in a trade, which you prefer to let go, Herter or Barnes? That's a really good question, Chris. And it really does depend on what you're bringing back. I think that there's a good chance that both will go, just because of the salary. And if you're going to go after a big player, if you're big game hunting, you only have a couple of ways to get there with players. But I honestly think at this point it would be Barnes, just because he's 31 years old and Kevin Herter's 25. And I think Kevin Herter has a potential to raise his value again, where I don't know that Barnes has that potential. But I don't know, I like the idea of being able to keep Barnes and have him be my third/fourth forward, but not at that money. And I always go, Kyle has his theory about higher ceiling. And at this point, I think Kevin Herter has a higher ceiling.
I agree.
And I also think a lot of people who are chiming in have recency bias because they just watched Kevin Herter have a good game where he looked like Kevin Herter again. And you're forgetting the previous month and a half.
Yeah, but we also saw Herter be really, really good all of last year.
He was, but he scored 2 points more, 0.2 points more per game than Harrison Barnes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes was good last year too. Yeah. Herter averaged 15.2. Barnes averaged 15.
Oh, here we go. Good discussion going on in the chatty house. You can participate at youtube.com/ESPN1320. We're also streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/ESPN1320. Maybe you're listening on the radio. Maybe you're listening on the free Odyssey app. Wherever you're listening, we appreciate you greatly. The chatty house is great, though.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good questions in there.
Totally. We get a lot of people in there.
Yeah, a lot of people hanging out. If you're there, hit that little thumbs up. Hit the like button for us. If you're hanging out in the chatty house right now, we would appreciate that very much. Also, subscribe to the channel if you don't do that at both Twitch and YouTube. You want to do Mad Props?
Yeah, let's do Mad Props.
All right, we can do Mad Props. Let's do that right now.
I do love when
It's
people
time for Mad Props. 2 games, 2 props. Which number will be higher? That's for Kyle and James to decide. Here's Mad Props.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I love it when people walk in the door and then stop to look at their phone right behind you. They have no idea that they're literally being viewed by lots of people.
Can I keep it a stack for a second? Can I be serious for a second?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I hate it.
Yeah.
Because in the reflection of my window, I can see it, and it's so distracting.
Oh, got it.
It's so distracting. I want to put a cover there so bad. Anyways,
we should do the big fat heads,
just of us.
Okay, that would be sick.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
Okay.
But either that or we could do like the catch, Joe Montana on one, and Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone on the other.
I'm with it.
Yeah, as long as they're somewhat transparent.
Okay.
But that would knock the glare off, so you wouldn't see the people.
That would be preferred.
Okay.
I hate it so much.
All right.
Because I can tell if they're looking at me.
We should work on this.
I agree. All right. We should also work on our bit. Okay, here we go. Mad Props. We had to mix it up this week because there was no 49ers, which is usually the game we pull from for football. So we went one of each wildcard game. Let's start out in Detroit, where we had Rams points against the Lions or De'Aaron Fox points. You had De'Aaron. I took the Rams. I win this one 23-21.
Oh,
this is the Kings game against the 76ers.
That does not bode well for me.
You'd have won that one if we had done the Bucks game.
Yes.
I believe De'Aaron had 26 against the Bucks. The next game, let's head down to Houston. CJ Stroud passing yards against the Browns or Kings 76ers total points. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit in the last segment. The Browns did not have nearly the smoke for the Texans offense that I thought they were going to.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Stroud was going to get held in check a little bit. He did not. 274 passing yards for him, 206 total points in Kings 76ers. We both took that Kings 76ers total. We both take a loss there.
Ew.
Yeah.
All right.
But we get back on track. CeeDee Lamb receiving yards in Dallas against the Packers or Kings total points against the 76ers. We both took CeeDee Lamb, and we both get a win here. 110 yards for CeeDee Lamb, just 93 points for Sacramento against Philadelphia.
Oof. I thought CD would have a much better game than
Me
that.
too.
But I don't know. Ferguson stepped up. And then one of their other receivers broke 100 as well.
Yeah, I had the Kings in the like 120-ish range, and I had CD right about the same, but he goes for 110. Kings go for just 93, but we both get a win there. Dolphins rush attempts in Kansas City or Domantas Sabonis points, rebounds, and assists. The Dolphins run game did not get off the ground the way I thought it was going to. I thought Mike McDaniel would have something for the Chiefs, something creative, something fun. He did not. They fell behind. Negative game script. They only ran it 18 times. Luckily, you and I both took Domas points, rebounds, and assists. He had 31 compared to just 18 rush attempts for the Dolphins.
Yeah, McDaniel looked like he was just freezing cold and like couldn't function.
Could not wait to get out of there.
Yeah, no, it was like, let's get out of here and get back to the tropics.
Tough look for our Finns. Jalen Hurts completions last night in Tampa Bay or Malik Monk points against Philly. You took Monk points. You took Jalen Hurts completions. I took Malik Monk. Just 15 points for Malik Monk against Philly. 25 completions last night for Jalen Hurts. And again, game script certainly helped. They started out running the heck out of the ball. They fell behind. They started putting the ball in the air, and that led to an easy W for you. So we are tied with 3 wins each. We split the last one. 1 winner, 1 loser. Steelers points against the Bills or Keegan Murray made field goals. The Steelers actually did all right. 17 points against the Bills. Now, keep in mind, I thought they were going to be playing in like a blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
So that was why I set this the way I did. Keegan Murray made field goals, just 6. You took the Steelers. I went with Keegan. You win that one. You get 4 right. I got 3 right. You are the big winner this week in Mad Props. Congratulations on the victory. That's big time. Crowd's going wild.
I win.
All right. And that's Mad Props.
That's Mad Props.
Thanks, everybody. If you want to sponsor that, let us know. rich.ripley@odyssey.com. If you have a business and you want to sponsor Mad Props.
That's right. I love Mad Props.
We'll continue doing this throughout not only the football season, but we will do this. We start getting creative with it once football season ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
We need to have a bunch of t-shirts made. Like there's all kinds of things that we do here that we need t-shirts made for.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get on that.
I will.
We were talking a little bit about the quarterbacks last segment. It's so funny the contrast between the AFC quarterbacks and the NFC quarterbacks left. Because in the AFC, it is Lamar Jackson about to be a 2-time MVP. Mm-hmm. It is Patrick Mahomes, a 2-time MVP? Is he won just one?
No, Mahomes, that I believe.
He's an MVP with multiple Super Bowls already.
Yes.
Josh Allen, who is in that top tier of NFL quarterback, and then CJ Stroud, who may not be there yet because he's a rookie, but for me, he is on the way there. And if he backs up his rookie season with another good year next year, he'll be right there. I'm not sure there's a young quarterback in the league that I would rather have right now than CJ Stroud. Then you go to the NFC, where you have Brock Purdy, final pick of the draft 2 years ago. You have Jared Goff, former number 1 pick in the draft, who got discarded by the Rams to go to Detroit. You have Baker Mayfield, former number 1 pick, who is now on his 4th team.
Something like that.
Browns, Panthers, Rams, Bucks. Yeah.
Yep.
On his 4th team. And then you have Jordan Love, who was drafted 26th overall in the 2020 draft, finally got to be the starter this year, goes and blows up in his first playoff game and carries the Packers to a victory over the Cowboys. It feels like the NFC is all question marks and the AFC is all like, yeah, that's a guy I would like to have on my team. it's really funny the juxtaposition between the two.
Yeah, I think that the Niners are in a good place when it comes to that. When we look at all the totality of the quarterbacks, like I
Mhm.
remember there was such a huge disparity a few years ago when Jimmy Garoppolo was your quarterback and Ryan Tannehill was in the playoffs with Tennessee, and you got to the final 8, and it was like Tom Brady, I think Matthew Stafford,
Mhm.
but then the AFC was like, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Like,
Yeah.
Clearly the 49ers had the 7th best quarterback
Mhm.
and only ahead of Tannehill. Now at this point, I think you might have the 4th or 5th best quarterback. I don't know.
I think so. All the AFC guys I'm taking over Purdy, and I don't even like. I understand if somebody wants to quibble with Stroud,
I
but
think it's like a coin flip this year with Stroud. But
they've been full-time starters the same amount of time.
yeah,
I'm taking CJ Stroud over Purdy personally, and then like Jordan Love has been really good for the second half of the year. He's 21 touchdowns, 1 interception
he's
since
been
week
good.
11.
Mhm.
And then you see some of the throws he made and some of the plays he made against Dallas, some of the off-platform stuff and the downfield throws he was making into tight windows. Going into the playoffs, I would have been like Brock Purdy, no question. After watching Jordan Love in a playoff game, it's a question for me.
Okay.
We'll see. I'm on the fence. I'll put Purdy ahead of him for now. Like, let's see what Jordan Love looks like against the 49ers in the divisional round. But man, if he lights up San Francisco, it's not a question. I'm taking Jordan Love.
Okay. I mean,
I'm taking the physical talent every time.
I get that. I would say though, like CJ Stroud this season, 4,108 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Like Brock Purdy's stats are much better. He led his team to a 9-6 record.
Come on,
but they are.
Let's do context.
No, I get it. Like you have better weapons.
Way better.
Yeah, but it's not like they don't have weapons. They have weapons.
They have Nico Collins.
Oh, I don't know. Like
Tank Dell's a good player.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz is a good player.
He's
like,
fine.
They don't have the running back for sure.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
He turned Noah Brown into like a 150-yard receiver back-to-back weeks.
Totally. Hey, look, I'm not saying I think
bananas.
CJ Stroud is like the future of the league.
Mhm.
Totally. But as of today,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I'd take Purdy.
It's close.
I know it's a coin flip.
It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Baker Mayfield looked really good last night.
I'm not taking Baker Mayfield. I mean, like you have to go off some track record.
Baker looked good last night.
Yeah. Mahomes is a 2-time MVP.
Yeah.
6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All Pro, and he's 28. 2-time Super
the
Bowl
Hall of
champ.
Famer if he hangs him up tomorrow.
Yeah, he's a 2-time
What a
Super Bowl
baller.
champ. 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Yeah,
Crazy.
he good.
All right. Let's shift gears. Let's hit the Kings. We got to hit a break. I have a Kevin Huerter stat that I want to throw at you that I think makes me not want to trade him. And I'll tell you why.
I've been
on the
anxiously
insiders
waiting for this.
I got you. It's coming up next on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Center.
What's up, Kenny?
James Ham, what's going on with you, brother?
Oh man.
Hey.
Another day, another dollar, huh?
Something like that.
Can you ask Kenny if it's him or D'Lo today?
Is it you or D'Lo today?
Not sure.
He says he's not sure.
Perfect.
Usually I'm on Monday.
He said you.
But that could be
So you
you
guys
can't
are on
hear
that
me.
kind of like you're every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. He can't hear me. No.
Yeah.
Like talking to Kenny. Just
I'm down.
I hate this.
Hey, either way,
Someday I'll be a real boy and I'll get to sit in
I'll do it.
the studio with you.
he is talking. He keeps asking questions, and I'm
I'm
not.
just talking.
I need to be here. I will
What do you got?
translate.
Oh, ask him what he's got there.
He said, "What do you got there?" Oh yeah, the same stuff.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I got 2 more bottles today.
All right.
A whole
Big
other
cognac guy?
shipment came in today.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I'm gonna try it at least.
Hey, have you seen? Okay. Yeah. All right. It's kidding. I just want to prepare and make sure
Whichever
right
is
thing
gonna be
ready.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
because I would ask Kenny different questions than I would ask D'Lo. If it was Damian, we'd be talking a lot of Baker Mayfield.
Oh yeah.
It's this guy. Let's see. There's that. Okay. Victor Wembanyama's per 36. 35.5 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 5.5 blocks.
What? That's his per 36?
Yeah.
What in the Sam Hill? Oh, Bobby.
It's not getting, I thought it would get old. The like, hey, this tall guy next to Victor Wembanyama. It's not old at all. Nick Richards, 7 foot, trying to block Victor Wembanyama's shot. Looks like a child trying to block his dad's shot.
Yeah, it's brutal. Boy, man, the Warriors are 12th place.
They stink. Like they're just not. It's super funny because you listen to podcasts or these ESPN shows and it's like, what's wrong with the Warriors? Like, dude, they just don't have that many good players.
They went and got old.
Yeah, they're just old.
It happens.
Like it's not some secret. It's not some mystery. Like they're just not very good, man.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's not some.
I need to see these per 36. 24.7, 13.
Who are we talking about?
Victor Wembanyama.
90 seconds.
4 blocks. I like Keldon Johnson. I'd at least entertain that one. I don't know. Well, 6'5". Ouch. I thought he's bigger than 6'5". There was talk that San Antonio might be interested in DeJounte Murray again.
Huh.
You can never go home. I don't know. That seems like a strange one. Kings are tied for 5th with Dallas and New Orleans. It's a big game tonight.
Good Lord. Another phone call. Leave me alone.
Same people?
No, scam likely.
Oh. Well,
I'm stressing out that my HOA is calling me on the phone. They've never done that before. Okay, here we go. We're coming back. I'm Kyle. That's James. Hey, I don't think I want to trade Kevin Huerter anymore.
all right.
I've been all aboard. Like, take his $15 million and ship it out. Get a team to buy into a 25-year-old 40% career 3-point shooter and call it good. However, the other night against the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
the Kings did not win, obviously, but they probably should have. They were a couple of free throws away down the stretch from winning that game. And now the Kings, save for that game this year. Well, no, not save for that game, including that game this year. The Kings are 6-2 when Kevin Huerter scores more than 15 points. That's a 750 winning percentage. They're 17-14 when he scores fewer than that. That's a 548 winning percentage.
Yeah, Kyle, we're 40 games into the season.
And he's very clearly figuring it out.
He's got 8 games where he scored 15 or more.
Yeah, he's struggled. That's fine.
Struggle bus done run him over.
I know it did, but now he's bouncing back.
I hope so.
He had 26 the other night. Excuse me. Yes, 26 the other night with 10 rebounds against Milwaukee. It's 1 point overtime loss. It's just really clear. And I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm prisoner of the moment here. But when it's something that drastic, like their offense looked like their offense the other night because of Kevin Huerter.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you remove that element and remove that possibility, I don't know who you're replacing him with that allows your offense to elevate to that level. I don't.
No, I'm with you. I get what you're saying. They don't have another player that can do what he does. I totally get it. My problem is, and again, like, I like Kevin, and he was really
Yes.
good last season, but he showed signs that he can't do it when it matters. He can't figure it out.
The playoff track record isn't great.
We've watched 25 games here where he has not been able to figure it out, and I feel for him because I think he's a very good NBA player and he has a skill, a skill set that's really, really marketable and tradable and everything else. But like, look, if you disappear for stretches and you just can't find the bucket, I mean, I like talk about streaky. We talked about like at the beginning of this year, they need to iron out some of the crazy all over the board stuff. That's not what's happened. The peaks and valleys have gotten bigger for him.
So do you think it's addition by subtraction then? Just taking out that volatility will help stabilize things?
Well, I mean, I think like if you look at a guy like Trey Lyles, right? Trey Lyles is like steady Eddie. Like every time you get, or like just to take it to the next level, look at how stable Sabonis is, right? And you just need players around him that can be somewhat stable. We've talked about this with like, I know this weird with like fantasy football. It's when I go and I look at fantasy football and I'm going to draft, right? I'm of course going to have my haymakers, right? I'm going to take some gambles here and there.
Yeah.
But in my rounds that matter, I look at players and you can look at, let's say, 8 different players that have 8 receiving touchdowns. And then I go in and I look at those 8 players, how they scored those touchdowns. And for me, like watching CeeDee Lamb this year, who ends up with 14 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns one time all season.
Yeah.
He also had 1 touchdown in like 11 or 12 games. I want that guy on my team because even the 1 week that he didn't have a touchdown out of like the last 9, he had 180 yards receiving.
Right.
Like, so the stability of that player, like for when I'm building my roster, I want players like that. What I don't want is I can have an H-An on my roster, but how many times this year did he have 3 touchdowns and then nothing for 3 weeks and then 3 touchdowns and nothing? Like
he was pretty banged up.
It's really difficult to be a consistent winning team if that's, again, what your starting shooting guard is doing. So Kevin has to figure it out. And it's on him. I thought last year he was really good all season, except for that middle stretch where for like 6 weeks, he really struggled. And then you get to the playoffs and he vanished completely. You might be able to give him one more season to see if he figures out. And by that one season, I mean this year. But when he showed you what he showed you in the playoffs, and then he has that same 6 to 8 week stretch in season, that's really, really tough to build around.
Yeah, and I think this gets back to as well, we were talking at the break in the chatty house about if you had to trade one of Herter or Barnes, which one did you move? And I think for me, I'm probably keeping Kevin Herter out of the 2.
Because he's 25.
He's 25. But the problem comes in that if you're making a deal, he's probably the more valuable trade chip.
Yeah, I would say
young. He's a career 40% 3-point shooter.
People are going to look at his season this year and throw it away.
Yeah.
Like they'll be able to fix whatever's happening.
Right.
People are going to look at Harrison Barnes and say, okay, there's
what he is now.
The potential that he's on the downswing and this is who he is. So, and I also think like if you don't put him next to the best rebounder in the NBA, he might average more than like 2.5 rebounds per game. I mean, it's just who he has been. But for him to take like such a dip this season and have it be like unexplainable, that's a problem to me.
Yeah.
And again, he wasn't a bad rebounder last year. You wanted more out of him, but it started in February where he stopped rebounding and he started doing the 1 to 2 rebounds a game. And so maybe it's at where the Kings put him on the court. Maybe it's that he feels like he can't go rebound from that position. But for a guy to go from 6.6 to 5.6 to 4.5 to 2.8 rebounds.
Oh, that's a trend.
In the last 4 years. Yeah. 6.6, 5.6, 4.5, 2.8. That's a trend. And that's not good. And especially when.
And I'm sorry, that type of dip is not because Domantas Sabonis is vacuuming up all the rebounds.
No.
that is a concerted lack of effort to me.
I think the last
On the glass.
the
Not saying
last
Harrison Barnes didn't try.
the last 2 years, I mean, going from 5-6 to 4-5 and 2-8, I mean, those are with Sabonis versus without Sabonis, because Sabonis played 15 games a year before.
Mhm.
So you are seeing like a decline. But the thing I would point to, the things that kind of say, I'm not sure if he's declining, 39.1% from three, 39.4, 37.4 last year, which was a down year, 39.9 again this year.
Sure.
So like he's still shooting it. He's still like solid in the things that he's been solid at. His steals 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, 0.7 the last 4 years. But it's the rebound numbers that like really, really stand out. And then I think the defensive metrics by this point prove out that like he's just not being able to stay in front of his man.
Yeah.
I haven't looked recently, but I'm gonna guess that like it's becoming a bigger problem than it was before.
Yeah, I just think they can get more out of the position than hang out in the corner and shoot some threes and then be switchable on defense.
Okay, but Kyle, I would make the point that if that's what Harrison Barnes is, that's fine. But you can find better versions, better defensive versions
That's
of
what I
Harrison
mean.
Barnes. Yeah.
Yeah. If
So-
you're going to hang out in the corner and just shoot threes offensively, that's fine. And that's probably what they need. But then defensively, you need to offer more than he does.
Exactly.
Being switchable isn't enough.
No,
Being
no, no.
able to theoretically guard 2 through 5 is great. But in practice, it hasn't been working.
Yeah.
And if they were a top flight defensive team and he was just kind of the focal point of that, then you can absolutely live with less than 3 boards a game. And he's going to some nights he's going to knock down 3 or 4 threes, and other nights he's going to be absent on offense.
Mhm.
But like you said, he's not, and this is why it's tough. He's not the reason that, oh, hey, they're getting blown out a lot because of this.
Yeah.
He's not the reason that I don't think that the Kings can't win a title with this group. It's not like strictly his fault.
No. But I would
just think
say
they need to get better there.
I would say
More
that
effective.
there's 20 games this year, like look at almost every single one of the blowouts. Every single one of the blowouts, you get pretty consistent numbers still. Fox has had a couple of bad games in blowouts, Sabonis, but it's still the same group: Sabonis, Fox, Murray, and Monk. And then you're getting nothing out of your 2 and your 3 in those games.
Yeah.
And that's a problem where you're like, they just aren't effective. And I don't know how else to, like, whether you run more plays for them. And I know Mike says I don't run plays for players, but you got to figure out ways to get those guys involved.
Yeah. And if that's, I mean, okay, Mike Brown doesn't run plays for players, but dude, if that's what it takes to get Harrison Barnes engaged, then do it. Like if that's what it takes to get Kevin Huerter rolling, then do that's seems like a really small adjustment. Like Phil Jackson would always make sure that off the bat, like his center got a touch right away.
Yeah.
And making sure that, hey, whether it's Bill Cartwright or whoever, I don't know, but making sure that the center gets a touch early to keep them engaged. That's the whole philosophy of Steve Kerr and now Mike Brown. Like everybody's touching the ball always. Everybody's always got to be ready. And that's awesome. But on this team, it's that possession is more times than not going to end with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk when he's on the court.
No, totally.
Like
I totally agree.
Get Harrison Barnes some early touches. Then draw something up for him if you need to. If that's, I don't know, man.
Kyle, I would say the other problem I have,
Like we're trying to solve a problem that there's no real solution for.
No, I get you, but I would even, if you're going to have games where you start Chris Duarte, and, again, he had like a 5-game stretch there. I need them to invert their positions, and I need Harrison Barnes to be the guy in the 2-man game, not Chris Duarte.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with Chris Duarte being a catch and shoot shooter from the corner, and every once in a while taking somebody off the dribble and they overcommit on a closeout.
Sure.
Right? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not who he should not be in a 2-man game. That, like, to me,
He dribbles a lot.
Yeah, they're trying to do something that they use Huerter for, when Barnes is the replacement. Barnes is the guy who can do that.
Yeah.
And he can get downhill and he can make the pass and he can hit the 3 ball.
Yeah.
He's just a more secure player. And so when they do make that move where they're using a defensive minded player in Duarte, I would just like to see more of Harrison Barnes engaged in the offensive side of the ball. Don't leave him in the corner, because I just don't think that's your best use for the guy. So, I mean, he still has a lot of game as an offensive player.
Yeah, I think that's what's frustrating is you see it. Like
Yeah, he shows flashes
there'll
where
be
it's like, hey, look, there he is.
a couple possessions a game. And you're like, oh man, okay, Harrison Barnes is in it, and then you won't see him the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to get to keys for tonight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Keys to a Kings victory. The Kings looking to close out their 5-game road trip with a win. They are 2-2 so far on the trip, looking to finish it out with a winning record. And they've already won the season series over the Suns, right?
No, because the season series got extended.
Oh, yeah.
They have 5 games against the Suns, so they're 2-0. This is an opportunity to go 3-0 and win.
the season series.
But they also have 3 opportunities to get that third win.
Yeah. And just so the context here, the Suns are only 2 games back of the Kings, and the Suns are currently the 8th seed. So this would be a pretty big win to try and get some space between the Kings and the play-in tournament. James, what is your first key to a Kings victory?
Fox and Monk need to atone. Like realistically, you had 2 of your best players miss 3 free throws in the final 18 seconds. You lost by 1 point.
Yep.
And they need to show up. They need to finish this road trip the right way, and they need to atone for what happened on the court.
Yeah, they got to. This is when you're playing against stars like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal's been really good, by the way, since he's been back on the court. Your stars need to also step up. So I'm right there with you. My first one, Kevin Huerter's got to get hot.
Yeah,
like it can't be. Hey, he had 26 against Milwaukee, and now he's back to going 0 for 6. No, he needs to get and stay hot. What's number 2 for you?
Let Domas feast. This is a team that you should be able to like highlight him a lot, and he's been on a tear. He's been absolutely incredible. But the Kings need to make sure that against Nurkic, get Nurkic in foul trouble. He's physical. He wants to push you around. Get him in foul trouble. Get him off the court, and let Sabonis get to the bucket.
Just don't punch him in the face. Number 2, contain Book. The Suns are 10-5 when he scores 28 or more, and they are 11-13 when he doesn't.
Oh,
so contain Devin Booker if you're gonna pick one guy to shut the faucet off.
Yeah, and the Kings have done a nice job on Booker this season.
Yeah.
Okay, so
throw a bunch of different bodies at him.
My third one, finish the trip the right way. There's 3 blowouts and an overtime loss in the first 4 games of the trip. The Kings, of course, had 2 blowouts, and then they got blown out, and then the overtime loss. You got an opportunity here to finish a trip that included stops in Philly, Milwaukee, and Phoenix with a winning record, a 3-2 record.
Yeah,
and you got to put it all on the line here. And I like that Mike Brown's going with a shorter bench.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Treat it like a playoff game. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, last one for me. Run. The Suns don't like to run. They will kill you in the half court. So I want to get out and see the Kings run tonight. That's it for keys to victory. If the Kings do all those things, they're going to win. Book it. Let's welcome in Kenny Caraway for the handoff. Kenny Caraway, the KC of D-Lo and KC. Kenny, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to figure out why Steve Ballmer decided to do this press conference inside or something. Like you could have done it on
He's
the street
wearing a
outside. Guys wearing a helmet and everything because it's a construction zone. I mean, just do it outside. Just do it at the headquarters. Why? This is gonna live forever, Steve. This is gonna live forever.
Is Steve Ballmer the weirdest rich guy? Like public rich guy? I'm sure there's some super weird. Is he the weirdest NBA owner? Let me put it that way.
There's some pretty weird NBA owners.
There are some pretty weird NBA owners. I just don't know that Steve Ballmer's ever watched Spaceballs, because that's what it looks like what's happening. Like
I can't see what's happening.
I'm sorry. I got distracted.
He's wearing
that's fine. Yeah.
He's at a
white helmet
conference for the All-Star. For the All-Star, the announcement of them getting the All-Star game in 2026.
Right.
He's got the construction vest on.
Great.
With the construction helmet on because they decided to do the press conference in the construction space of the Intuit Dome instead of just going outside where you don't have to wear any of this stuff.
I would also say it's not a standard like hard hat.
Yeah, he's got straps underneath.
It looks like a bike helmet that he's wearing. It looks like he's
like when you wear rock climbing.
It looks like he might go rappelling after this, but no, it's got no ear flaps at all.
And he's just talking to us, just talking like a CEO does. Like this is just great. All right.
Oh yeah.
What
I actually like Steve
what an
Ballmer,
interesting guy.
From what I hear,
he is an interesting cat. So yeah,
I think he wants to win.
He definitely wants.
And
to win.
honestly, that's I respect that more than anything with with the team owner. Good weekend for the Niners.
An excellent
For you?
weekend for the Niners.
How come?
An excellent weekend for the Niners. Now, you got to play the games, right? There goes Steve Ballmer at the press conference. For those watching on YouTube right now, the man is just doing his thing right now. Shout out Steve Ballmer. But look, you gotta play the games, right? You have to play the games. You have to execute. You have to do what you have to do. However, if we were all being like transparent and just said after week 18, write down the most favorable scenario you could think of for the Niners to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It would be eliminating the Eagles, eliminating the Cowboys, and eliminating the Rams.
Yeah.
It all happened in one weekend.
Man.
So yes, great weekend. Great weekend.
There's a freeway to the Super Bowl.
It's right there for 'em.
Here's my, you guys know me, you know how I roll.
Yep.
Mhm.
Here's my quibble.
Quibble me this. Go ahead.
Green Bay looked really good against Dallas, and
That's
I'm
fine.
fully aware that Dallas stinks, bro. Like Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy needs to be jettisoned to Neptune. But so I understand that, but Green Bay, especially defensively, I thought looked really, really good against Dallas.
Well, Dallas also doesn't have a run game.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
The
That's true.
Achilles heel, one of the Achilles heel for this this Green Bay defense is against the run. I
Mhm.
think I saw somewhere they gave up 200 yards on the ground 4 times this year, and that feeds right into what Kyle Shanahan wants to do.
Yeah.
I got respect for the way Green Bay played. I got respect for Matt LaFleur. I think he's a heck of a coach. I think
Matt
need to
LaFleur's
start-
a very good coach.
I think we need to start giving him the respect that he deserves around the league. Jordan Love looked good. I've always liked Aaron Jones, but hey, if the Niners take care of it, if they don't turn the ball over, I'll put it to you like this: they're covering.
Really, the 10?
Absolutely. If they don't turn the ball over, they're covering rather easily.
Yeah, the Packers, just to your point here, KC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games of 140 rushing yards or more by the opponent.
Oh,
And the Cowboys didn't have the coach, they didn't have the quarterback, and they didn't have the running game to expose that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things wrong with the Cowboys.
Everything for me with the 49ers comes down to game script.
Mhm.
If they get ahead, I don't know if there's a team that can beat them.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
they fall behind, I don't know how confident I am that they're going to beat anybody.
The other thing about Saturday that seems like it might play into the hands of the 49ers and the way they play football is the weather conditions may be a little mucky.
Oh yeah.
So, if you're talking about who's going to do better in that type of game, I think the 49ers with their run game would be in everything favors the 49ers. Every single thing. The conditions, the short week, the talent, everything favors the 49ers. They just got to go out there and execute.
They're gonna have the bye week, extra rest over the Packers, who, like you said, are playing on a quote unquote short week.
Mhm.
And then they're also, if they beat Green Bay and go to the NFC title game, they will have a rest advantage there because the team they'll play is going to be playing Sunday to Sunday instead of Saturday to Sunday. So there'll be an extra day there.
It's all right.
Not that I think that matters that much, but it's just, it goes to show
helps.
to me, like, bro, I have never felt in a year like, man, you know what? The Niners are definitely the best team. And this year in the NFC, they certainly are. And I think them and Baltimore are in the same class.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be the one that, like, if they lose this one,
look, I'm telling you, I've been saying it for months. I'll be hurt.
Yeah.
I'd be hurt if they did not win the Super Bowl this year. I'll be
he's
hurt.
He's already put it on his Super Bowl jacket.
I'm telling you, man, I'll be hurt.
This
man.
is a 17.
This one technically doesn't count just yet because those are usually like games, like championship game, Super Bowl. So they haven't gotten there yet. But if I want to take it a step further, I could say another plus for the 49ers is getting the Browns out of here because the whole thing was Schwartz and Kenny.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Getting them out of there, it's another opportunity. I mean, it was a great weekend for the 49ers.
I root so hard for D'Amico Ryans.
I think
love D'Amico.
the best
Me
case
too.
scenario
Ball
too,
gang for life.
if they can get the Chiefs to fall, then you're going in against teams that like maybe don't have. I would point out too, Kyle, since you're not watching, the next 2 people to take the podium at this Clippers All-Star weekend, they are not wearing helmets. The next two people have shunned the helmet look. They want to look presentable for national television. They are not wearing helmets. Good for them.
When you have
that's so funny.
$40 billion, who cares about being presentable?
I guess.
I barely care about being presentable, and I don't have $40, so I totally. If I was that rich, you couldn't tell me anything. You would not be able to tell me a thing.
I would tell you to stop rubbing my thighs when the Clippers score. I would tell you that.
He does some strange
You ain't
things.
seen Steve Ballmer? Yeah, he does
Yeah.
that. Like the guys next to him, I don't even know if he knows these people. Like he gets hyped and starts rubbing their thigh. Bro, get your hands off my leg.
No, that's not okay. That's not okay. You would be able to tell me to stop doing that if I was touching your thigh.
Stop touching me. We don't touch
No, we
other
don't.
people's thighs.
That's you know what? That's one of that's the core tenet of this
We
show.
don't touch other people's privates.
And on that note, we're going to hand it off to D'Lo and Casey. They're coming up next on ESPN 1320, Sacramento's Sports Leader.